You're floating in a metal coffin 270 miles above Earth. The cabin is spinning once per second. You can't see. You can't think. Your vision is going dark. Mission Control is screaming your name, but you're about to black out. And if you do, you die. This isn't fiction. This happened during the Gemini 8 mission to Neil Armstrong. The first man to walk on the moon almost died 3 years before he ever got there, and he's not alone. Today, I'm showing you 6 space disasters that were seconds away from killing everyone on board, stories NASA didn't want you to obsess over. Let's begin.
During the Gemini 8 mission in March 1966, Neil Armstrong and Dave Scott just docked with another spacecraft for the first time in history. They're celebrating. Then the cabin starts to spin, slowly at first, then faster and faster. They try to stop it, nothing works. The spacecraft is now rotating once per second. Their vision blurs, G-forces crushing their skulls. What they didn't know was a thruster was stuck open, firing non-stop. They had maybe 60 seconds before they'd black out, and if they blacked out 270 miles above Earth, they'd spin until they ran out of oxygen. Armstrong made a split-second decision. He fired the re-entry thrusters, the ones you're only supposed to use once to come home. The spin stopped. They survived, but now they had to return to Earth immediately because those thrusters were empty. One malfunction, one stuck switch, Neil Armstrong almost never made it to the moon.
During Apollo 11 in July 1969, the whole world is watching. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are descending to the moon, but the computer is taking them to the wrong spot, a field of boulders the size of cars. If they land there, the lunar module tips over and they die. Armstrong takes manual control. He's flying sideways, searching for flat ground, but the fuel gauge is dropping fast. Mission Control calls out 60 seconds. Armstrong keeps searching. 30 seconds. Aldrin's heart rate hits 160. 30 seconds of fuel left, and they haven't touched down yet. The dust is blinding them. Armstrong can barely see the surface. He pitches forward, drops, contact light. Engines stop. They made it, with 17 seconds of fuel remaining. 17. If Armstrong hesitated for even 5 more seconds, the Eagle crashes, the moon landing fails, and 2 men die on live television.
During Apollo 13 in April 1970, 3 men are coasting toward the moon when they hear a bang. The spacecraft shudders, alarms everywhere. Oxygen tank number 2 has exploded. What they didn't know was the tank was damaged before launch, faulty wiring exposed, waiting to ignite. Now half their oxygen is venting into space. Their power is dying. The command module, their ride home, is shutting down. Jim Lovell looks out the window and sees a white mist pouring out of the ship. That's their air. That's their life. Mission Control makes the call to abort the moon landing, get into the lunar module, use it as a lifeboat. But the lunar module was built for 2 men for 2 days. Now it has to keep 3 men alive for 4 days. They shut off everything. No heat. The temperature drops just above freezing. Water drips from the walls. They're shivering, exhausted, breathing recycled air. Carbon dioxide is building up. If it gets too high, they suffocate in their sleep. Engineers on Earth improvise a fix using duct tape and cardboard. It works, barely. On April 17th, they re-enter Earth's atmosphere. The world holds its breath. 3 minutes of radio silence, then parachutes. They survived. But if the explosion happened 1 hour earlier during a burn, they would have lost attitude control and tumbled through space with no way home. During the Mir space station fire in 1997, 6 people are living on the Mir space station when a Russian cosmonaut activates an oxygen generator and suddenly flames erupt, a chemical fire shooting across the module like a blowtorch. You can't use water in space, you can't open a window, and fire doesn't rise in zero gravity, it spreads in every direction. Foam extinguishers don't work. Smoke fills the station, thick, toxic, blinding. They can't see each other, they can't breathe. The fire is burning through metal. If it reaches the hull, the station depressurizes and everyone dies. For 90 seconds, the flame roared. Then it burned out of oxygen. The crew survived, but were seconds away from abandoning the station or being trapped on the wrong side of the fire.
And then, during the Soyuz 1 mission in April 1967, Vladimir Komarov launches into space knowing he's going to die. The spacecraft was rushed. Engineers found over 200 structural problems before launch. The Kremlin ignored them. The launch was political, so Komarov said goodbye to his wife and went anyway. After launch, everything fails. One solar panel won't deploy. No power. He's tumbling. Mission Control orders him to return. Re-entry goes fine, but the main parachute doesn't open. The backup chute tangles. He's falling faster and faster. U.S. listening posts pick up his final words as he curses the engineers who sent him up in a broken ship. Then impact. Soyuz 1 hits the ground at over 300 miles per hour, and Komarov is killed instantly.
During the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster in 2003, Space Shuttle Columbia launches. 82 seconds into flight, a piece of foam the size of a briefcase breaks off and strikes the left wing at 500 miles per hour. Engineers see it and ask for satellite images. NASA says no, it's just foam. For 16 days, the crew orbits Earth, unaware. On February 1st, they re-enter. Superheated plasma flows into the wing. Sensors fail one by one. Mission Control calls out, but hears nothing. The shuttle breaks apart at 12,000 miles per hour, and all 7 astronauts die. The investigation later proved if NASA had checked the wing or sent a rescue mission, the crew could have survived. Space doesn't forgive mistakes. It doesn't care how smart you are or how brave you are. One malfunction, one ignored warning, 1 second of hesitation, and you're gone. We've been lucky, but luck runs out. It always does.